And we have a wonderful, wonderful now panel, not only because they are friends and of Latinas in Business, but you're going to see their fantastic stories. We are honored today to open our Latinas in Business virtual house to receive women from all backgrounds to share their stories with us. In this occasion, we welcome Maria Piastre, CEO of Metallics Refining. And we are also welcoming Jesse Gabriel, founder and CEO of All Places. And I think we should be looking for, I saw that Marvina Robinson, CEO of Stevenson Champagne, was on, but we are going to, start. There she is. Oh, I'm here. She says, I'm here. So, Marvina, can you turn on your video? There you are. Okay. She's going to be with us in a few minutes. So how's everybody this morning? Or this afternoon, better. It's like,
fantastic.
I didn't have lunch, so.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. And thank you, Jesse, for being here. So, Maria, I'm going to start with you. The panel is turning adversity into success. And I chose you there you are. Hi, Marvina.
Hi.
How are you? Good to see you.
Me. How are you?
Very
nice
good, very good. So I chose this topic because I've heard your stories before, and I thought that what a wonderful opportunity to bring your stories to this conference and share the opportunity for others to hear how you have overcome all these barriers and be really a successful entrepreneur that you are today, so that they can think, well, if she did it, I can do that too, right? That's the idea of today's message. So, Maria, I'm going to start with you. With a degree in economics from King University, Maria joined Metallics team in 2005, right? And she was in strategic planning, marketing, and sales. But after a brilliant career within the company, in 2017, Maria was promoted to company CEO after demonstrating her ability to perform critical duties throughout the organization, achieving the trust and respect of employees and colleagues. And I've seen that because you have great fans on social media. All your employees are great fans of you.
Thank you.
So we are delighted to have you. So tell me, Maria, your corporate career is a true example of talent and dedication. And, your resources and providers are all over the world, specifically in Latin America, in Africa, and Europe. So you travel constantly to build relationship with potential resources, right? Because you have to extract those precious metals.
Correct.
So once you became a CEO, what were the main obstacles that you had to overcome, especially because you are in a male-dominant industry, right? And you probably have a very stiff competition, right?
Yes. Obstacles, many. I think that as women we face and sometimes we don't realize, right? Because I think that we women are very stubborn. We are stubborn in the sense that when we're told you can't do something, or when you make a mistake, you probably suffer through it at the beginning, but very quickly, whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, I find that women, we get the attitude of, okay, I'll show you. So we bounce back and get going. I started in precious metals at a very young age. I was only 25 years old. And back then, in addition to being a woman, the age was also an issue. There's people that just wouldn't take you seriously because leadership is sometimes, and in some cultures, especially like in Asia, they're tied to seniority. So yes, definitely that was an interesting challenge. But I quickly realized that the only way to overcome these challenges of how people, you can control how people perceive you, their biases, their perceptions. The only way that you can compete with that is with your knowledge and preparation. I am a firm believer that in anything that you do in life, you must strive to become an expert. I'm not going to lie if I say that it was always easy. I knew walking into every meeting in any country, I knew that once we were done with introductions and first impressions, I only needed to get to business and they will know why I'm in charge, because it was all about being that expert. And in that, I read Marvina a little bit about you and your knowledge of champagne, for example. And that's a perfect example of that. You gotta be an expert in your field, in whatever it is that you do.
Thank you. Yes, yes, Maria. And I see the chat going crazy, and it's like everybody's like, I love that motto. I love lifelong learning and all
Every day doesn't stop.
Yes, doesn't stop, doesn't stop. So, Marvina, thank you so much again for agreeing to be here. You also travel constantly. I know you have been in and out of the country, even with the pandemic. So, since your college years, you and your friends often pull limited funding, a little money to purchase a bottle of brand champagne, and you develop a desire to one day have your own brand, yeah, right, your own champagne.
That's
So
correct.
you work very hard you work now with the vineyard in France and created Stuyvesant champagne, and you're one of the few African American women that own a champagne, a true champagne brand. Your own taste and predilection for champagne gave you the impulse. A lot of businesses are started because you have a passion for something, right? And
Yes.
that's your case. But then it comes the business part of it, which is really hard. Sometimes, people keep thinking about, oh, I love to do this. I love to, this product. They get in love with their product, but they don't pay attention to the business side, which is the hardest.
The details.
So, right. So, were you aware of the difficulties that you were going to encounter in this industry in which the majority of founders and growers are also male?
I did not even think that far, but I didn't anticipate the challenges. I just knew I wanted what I wanted. I always start with the end product, and I have this concept that I work backwards. So I always do this thing sometimes where I'll just figure it out. Like I had no blueprint. I knew where I needed to be to get a champagne brand because, for it to be officially champagne, it has to come from the Champagne region of France. So I knew I had to go to France. Finding a vineyard, working with a vineyard to work with me to produce, my own brand, Be Stuyvesant. And then the hard part, like you said, is the business side of it, because once you get a product, it's now, how do I scale this? How do I get this out to the public? Am I ready to go public? And then, so many things you have to take care on the backside, like staffing. That's a big thing that sometimes people don't think about, which is really hard. And just also balancing time for yourself, because even though you're the CEO of your business, of your brand, you still have to make time for yourself, because if you don't have time for yourself of
Yeah,
self-care, then you can burn out very easily.
right. Right, exactly. Yes, yes, yes. And that we all, you know that you as an entrepreneur, and I was an entrepreneur for 22 years, you work many, many hours. The dream of being like, oh, I can do my own hours, and it's really not right. It's not true. So let's go to Jessie now. Jessie is the CEO and founder of All Places, a business and legal strategy firm built by women for women. Jessie founded All Places after feeling unhappy and underappreciated at her previous firm. Jessie is a champion of women, advocating for gender equality in capital ownership and control. Raised by a single working mom in Southern California, Jessie's success came with a deep appreciation of how gender norms and unequal access to capital contribute to a systemic lack of opportunities for women. So, Jessie, I heard your story before, and I was so impressed because you were extremely open about the discomfort you felt in the corporate world. So many, many women leave that situation, and they leave corporate America to start their own businesses. When was your aha moment when you knew you had to do this? You had to leave and start your own business.
It's first of all, I'm so honored to be included at this event and on this panel. So I will talk about the moment when it really kicked in most for me, but I think probably for all entrepreneurs, once the seed is planted, then you start seeing a lot of things that reinforce that view for you, that you need to do this, that you didn't see before. So for me, it was a dinner in July of 2019. I had started working with a lot of women asset managers. So that's women who had started their own private equity funds, venture capital funds, hedge funds. And these are women like all the women on this panel, right, who are existing in an industry that was intensely male dominated, and where probably like all of us at various points in time, we felt undervalued, we didn't feel seen, we felt like, hey, maybe I can do this better, but my voice isn't being heard. And I held an event trying to get some of these women together so they could meet each other. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting around a table doing an ask and offer. And one of the women who had actually just met that night kind of wagged her finger at me across the table and said, you know what you can do for us, Jessie? You can start your own firm, because I want to work with a women-led firm and there just aren't any out there specifically for funds. And at the time, a few other women reinforced that. And at the time, I hadn't really thought about it, but that was it. The seed was planted, and then it felt like the universe kept sending me reinforcing messages, mostly in the form of terrible things happening to me in my corporate life, right? To remind me that I wasn't valued, and then wonderful things, right? Support of my family, of my husband, and of this community of women.
Right. Excellent. Actually, I like also to tell my own story about how I started my firm, my small business, and I was fired from my job, and so I was working for the state of New Jersey at the time, and I had started this as a side business, and I was a contractor, and a new administration came into power, and we were let go with 700 and some other contractors. So I, like you said, okay, this is the moment. I do it or never. And I went just, full time with that. So Maria, I've known you for many years. And we had the opportunity. You're muted, Maria. So there you go.
Got it.
So I've known you for many, many years, and we had the wonderful opportunity to reunite again a couple of years ago. And when you told me your story, I thought it was just a wonderful opportunity to share. Let me tell you, Maria, let me ask you, what is the most important achievement that you think you have, conquered with metallics? What is you think the most important, personally, you, since you are a CEO, that you have achieved with metallic company?
Okay. So I have to divide
Let's
my
brag a little, right? Let's brag.
I I know I have some achievements to be very proud of. Professionally in the precious metals world, we're not going to get too technical here, but we have made some magnificent improvements in innovation, technology, and also under my leadership, the company expanded into South Korea and England, which for me is remarkable as a Latino woman being able to, okay, now we're going globally, and that happened under my administration. But also another passion that I'm allowed really to work on, being CEO of Metallics, is improving gender dynamics for our women to compete on equal conditions. So I am immensely proud of our team. In this male dominated industry at Metallics, we have about 30% female workforce, and that's remarkable. We have a woman in not only in traditional roles like accounting and human resources and sales. I mean, I come from sales, but also in the technical aspect, and we have women operators, which I think is fantastic. And they all have 100% paid maternity leave. That's something that I was able to institute. I thought it was a shame, and you know, been there, done that. Only 12-14% of companies in the private sector in this country have some sort of maternity leave, and I think it's terrible. I lived it myself. I always had the support of my husband. We are a dual income family, and you know, the support was there, but I didn't want that a Metallics mom, a single mom, will be going through labor, recovering from labor, bonding with a new baby, and thinking about that disability check. When is it going to show up? Not under my watch, not the woman that worked for us. And now with the pandemic, it's been heartbreaking to see that there's many, especially young women with younger children, having to decide between having a family or having a career. Also, not under my watch, we have just launched a new child care credit program, and,
Excellent.
and always looking in ways to supporting a woman in the workforce. I think that in addition to having some paid leaves, you know, I know the government did something, you know, if you need to take care of someone, okay, you can have some fraction of your salary, right? They came up with something like that. That's all fine, and it's appreciated, but my concern was that since women bear the large share of child care, that while they were out taking care of their families, it's men, the ones with the opportunity to shine and be promoted. So it was not only about income, it was also about the opportunities that were going to be missed because you were not at your job. In our industry, if you're a lab technician, if you're making samples of, you know, gold purity, platinum purity, well, you can't do that from home. You have to be at the lab.
Right,
And if your son's school is closed, what are you supposed to do? So no, I mean, we stepped in and provided some programs so that they will be able to have that support and continue with their careers and not having to decide between one or the other, which I find extremely unfair.
Very good. Thank you, Maria. That's a great topic. And I'm going to go now to both Jesse and Marvina. Marvina, you work in an industry, like I said, that is the Champagne region is really very, very small, right? 70s, for what I understand, my research says 76 thousand acres only and 5,000 growers. And I guess you buy from them, buy your grapes from them, and you have them produced at that time. And how hard it is to compete with all these other huge companies, and just say, I'm a woman, I can do this.
Well, I work with a grower vineyard. So a grower's vineyard is a really small base vineyard type. What happens is, what people don't realize, a lot of these larger houses of champagne, they actually go to the growers or buy their grapes from a smaller vineyard that I work with. I chose to work with a small house vendor, grower champagne, because I wanted to be more hands-on and I wanted to be involved in the process, and I wanted to work with somebody who had flexibility. So how I compete with others is I don't. I focus on my brand. I focus on my vision that I specify or how I see things I want to undevelop. Do I make myself knowledgeable about other brands? Yes. Do I enjoy other brands? Absolutely. But I don't say that I'm competing against somebody. Do I want my brand to be successful? Yes. So I try to just focus on what I need to do for my brand. We're under 2 years old, so we're still fighting to get the next two cuvées here in the United States. And then the portfolio was complete. And then from there, we're doing variations. So I always say is, I don't look at things as competition, because sometimes you need allies within your industry, because you want to do collaborations as well. Because I always feel like it's healthy to make friends within the industry. Sometimes there's opportunities to collaborate, and there's opportunities to learn from one another. Even though some of the, I would say, other champagne houses, they're probably masters of their craft. I am new in the industry, but I also bring something unique where I haven't always been in the industry. So I bring innovate. Yeah, I'm innovative with what I do. We started expanding our business to do curated boxes, which is a huge hit. So we have, like, I started this thing I called a champagne greeting card, which I currently have pinned and trademark, and it's like a greeting card with champagne in it. So it's good to always have to do something different in your industry. So you bring your product to life, you know who your competitors are, you know how you want to move forward, keep your focus on what you want to do with your brands. Don't let the fogginess or the distractions come into play, because that's really easy to fall into. And then if you just keep yourself focused, well, I keep myself focused on how I want my brand to grow, listening to the feedback of my customers and my consumers. Because guess what? If they don't support you, or they don't like something, you have to fix it, or nobody's want to purchase it. And then from there, just keep growing. And sometimes you have to try different things. So if one thing don't work, try something else, and then it all, that's what leads to success, being unique. If you follow what everybody else is doing, or just trying to keep up with everybody else, you just fall in the same pack as them.
Right. Marvina, do you think, I'm going to jump here on one question. Women have a different taste in champagne. Do they like it sweeter or what?
I always say everybody's palate is unique. I've met a lot of consumers who like sweet. So when we released our demi-sec, a lot of people were waiting for it. I personally am not a sweet drinker because it gives me a headache. So I like more brutes, so I'm more dry. But I will say that a lot of our female consumers, when the demi-sec was released, they were on it to get it. So,
okay. Yeah, nothing. Here someone is saying champagne for all.
Yeah, right.
Right. So, Jessie, women are only 47% of associates in legal firms, compared to 30% of non-equity partners and about 20% of equity partners. And 93% of firms have reported that their most highly compensated attorney is a man. So in addition to compensation, what do you think are main discrimination issues that women encounter at large legal firms?
First off, I also love champagne, and Marvin, I'm just down the road from Bed-Stuy and Fort Greene. So
are you? We're neighbors. We need to meet.
I'm gonna need to find some of that. I'm gonna need to find some of that.
Our office is on Gates and Nostrand, so yes, you have to come over.
Yeah, I would love to. So this is, I could go on and on in response to this question, Susanna. I think the thing to remember probably in all of our industries is what the foundation was, right? So all these big law firms were created by men, by white men, for white men. And it's really hard, I think, to get away from that foundation. So as much as you try and maneuver out of it, it's very difficult. So what you see as a woman in big law firms, aside from compensation, where the disparity is huge, you also see that women are not in positions of authority, right?
Right.
You'll see women and people of color in charge of the women's committee, right? Or
Right.
the diverse attorneys committee, right?
Right.
But you don't see them as managing partners often. And the other thing that goes along with that is women attorneys are very frequently asked to do things essentially for free, right? What we call non-billable work. They're asked to mentor other attorneys. They're asked to serve on committees. They're asked to help with recruiting, things that largely are not considered in when compensation comes up. So law firms talk about it as non-billable, but really they're saying, hey, ladies, do this for us for free, right? Well, somebody else is doing billable work and they're going to get compensated more. And then I think the last thing that I would say, which I'd imagine probably everyone on this call has experienced, is this feeling like you should be grateful for what you're receiving. Hey, ladies, you should be grateful that you have this job, that you're a partner. Why are you asking for more, right? Why do you want that extra position? Why do you want that extra money? Why are you being so greedy? Be patient, which I think probably all of us have experienced to some extent. And it all just feeds into this feeling that women have of, I'm not important, you don't value me, my voice isn't important to you, I don't belong here. And women, more and more women are leaving. I think it's awesome.
So what are you doing at your firm now to value your partners or your employees, your staff?
Well, I have to be honest, we just launched in October, so we just hired our second person, two amazing women, really incredible. And I think the main thing that I'm trying to do is listen to them and let them know that whatever experience they're having working with All Places, to share it with me, that we can discuss it together and we can make it better for them, because I want them to love working with All Places. And I want them to feel deeply, deeply valued, because they are incredibly valuable.
Exactly. Yes, yes, absolutely. So now a question to all of you. Okay, so jump whenever you feel like comfortable. And what do you think is your biggest accomplishment as a Latina, as an African American, or as a white woman in your career? What do you think has been the one thing that you just an elevator pitch? This is what I feel the most proud of that I've done in my career. Anyone?
I'll kick off first. I'll
Okay.
give everybody extra time. I would say bringing the champagne brand to life, and not bringing it to life, but bringing it to the point where people are able to get access to it all throughout the United States. When I first launched the brand, I didn't know how I was going to get it out there. I partnered with Beano Shipper, and we're now able to ship throughout the entire United States. So I'm very happy with that. And we just recently went into distribution in New York City. So that is what I'm actually very happy about, or proud of, I would say.
Very nice. Very nice. Excellent.
I will go quickly here too and say, since we just launched, I'm just so proud that I chose to leave my last firm and start All Places. And I would just, I know the theme of this is women overcoming adversity, and we can all do this. And that is absolutely true. One of the great things about being part of an underserved community, which I am as a woman, and listeners who are Latinas and Black women, it's particularly true for them, is it's a real market opportunity, right? This is an underserved community of women entrepreneurs. Like, go out and serve them. Market opportunity. It is a way to support, do what you want, and make money.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. What about you, Maria? What is the one thing that you feel the most? And we have like 1 minute.
1 minute, yes. Eliminating a gender gap in compensation at Metallics.
Very nice. Very nice.
Completely,
Yes.
100%.
100%. So thank you so much, everybody, for your participation here. And I really, like I said, I was so impressed with your stories. You're gonna find also everybody who is attending this conference is gonna find also their stories on our LatinasInBusiness.us magazine. We did a feature article. We're missing Marvina, but we will. She was traveling, so she was unable to respond to our questions. But we will be. Please reach out to them and read their stories, because they're wonderful opportunities to learn from their bravery. They are at the three different times of their careers. Maria is more established. Jessie just started, and I think Marvina is kind of in the middle. But these are great examples of how women can overcome adversity and become very successful. Thank you so much, all of you, and
Thank you,
I'll see you
Susana.
very,
Thank
very
you,
soon.
everyone.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. It was fantastic panel. Fantastic panel.
Bye.